Oh yeah.
Just as Craig cracks his neck, welcome to Lighting Nerds. So we'll quickly check that we can be heard out in the wide world of the internet. So if someone in the chat could let us know
Someone
that.
on Discord just say that you can hear us or, whatever. And if you can't, that's fine too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hi. It's always an awkward thing when you're streaming because it's like, can you hear me? And then you kind of sit there and
Yeah,
wait
and
for
we're doing
30
kind of like a
seconds.
complicated. Oh, we've got Jervok here says he can hear us, so we're good to go.
Hey! Alright, so, Lighting Nerds.
Episode 2
Episode
of the
2.
VOD, at least.
Yeah.
Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Craig Rutherford.
It is not morning here. It is almost 2000 hours.
That's 8 p.m. for those that can't do 24-hour time. Good.
I never understood that. Why did 12-hour time become the standard?
Because people are dumb. I don't know.
But well, no, it's harder. It's harder to think about time being in two chunks of 12 rather than just a 24-hour chunk. Like once you agree that it's a 24-hour chunk, why break it up?
Yeah, because then you just have more questions. Because it's always like, oh, I'll see you at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
3 p.m.
I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense. Anyway, yeah, good evening. I hope you're doing well over there. It's really cold here.
Is
it? It's stupendously cold. I shouldn't say stupendously. It's 27 degrees Fahrenheit, which in Celsius comes out to -3. So
right.
not all that warm, not balmy. We had 60 degrees. Gosh, like 3 days ago, I was taking a walk in shorts. It was very nice. And now there's like 6 inches of snow on the ground, and it's cold. I don't like it.
Oh, no. Why aren't you wearing a scarf?
Why aren't I wearing my scarf? Well, I'm inside, for one thing.
You don't wear scarves inside? Is this like you don't wear hats inside? Is this a rule that I'm not aware of?
Well, I mean, the not wearing a hat inside is actually a rule.
It is.
Yes.
Is this the same apply for scarves?
One that only old men who are bankers seem to follow. I don't think anyone else cares about hats inside. Is that a thing? Like, did your mom and dad teach you not to wear a hat inside?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a given.
Is it really a given?
I don't know. Maybe it is in Australian culture.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just a little more onto social
polite
cues than the rest of the world.
It
sounds such a elitist thing to say. No, my parents didn't teach me. We just knew from birth. We came out of the womb and knew that hats inside was not okay.
You have a decent healthcare system, so
don't go
bounds ahead of us. Look, I'm
Yes.
taking it there. Like, people are dying, and we're acting like it doesn't matter. So, whatever.
No,
I am
that's
allowed
fair
to be
enough.
political on my own podcast. Vodcast?
Yes. Vodcast, yes.
Whatever this is.
Suddenly
you don't
we have
like
no
it?
viewers.
I don't care.
And
We have at least one.
Yeah.
We have at least one. I'm not in the stream right now, so I'm not looking at the live chat.
I am, so I will tell you whether anything.
I probably should be.
comes up.
How do I look at live chat? Boy, now it's time for Craig Rutherford learns how YouTube works. Here we go. Gosh. Yeah, I see it. Awesome. Well, it's week 3 of quarantine.
Why would you be in quarantine?
World events.
World events.
Right. I forgot that we can't say that here on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's completely silly. Hello, the Dr. 907. You probably told me what your name was last week, and I don't remember what that is.
Yeah, we had.
At least Just Call Me Skips puts what we want to call that person in their username.
What do we call him?
Skips, I imagine.
What gives you that idea?
Well, not only does it say Just Call Me Skips, it also says the little user avatar says Just Call Me Skips. So I'm just guessing this person wants to be called Skips.
Fair enough.
Yeah. How do I see all the people in here? Oh, there's only 1, 2. There's just 2 people. There's only 2 people watching right now. Or does that mean there's only 2 people signed into chat?
I think there's only 2 people signed into chat.
Okay.
I think
So we
it
could have
says that
more
we've
viewers.
got 4 concurrent viewers, which is pretty good.
Okay.
And I think four is enough to actually start the show. And most people watch it after the stream, don't they? I don't know. We've only done one of these things.
When was the last time, Alex, when was the last time you actually watched a live stream as it was happening live and didn't watch it later? The last time, and the reason I asked this is because your L8 stream yesterday for you was the only time, or maybe 2 days ago. It was the only time I've ever actually watched a live stream while it was happening.
Really?
Yeah, I've never actually watched one live before.
Well, you should. It's the point of them.
I
It's meant to
know.
be a
I mean,
live interaction thing.
this channel has 2 subscribers. We are being reminded. Well, it hasn't been very active for the past 5 years.
No, well, only yeah. But now it should have 3 subscribers. You should subscribe.
You should, Alex Key.
We should have more than 2
Anyways,
because I'm subscribed and you'd be subscribed anyway.
yeah, it probably doesn't count the creator of the channel as a subscriber. I'm guessing.
Yeah, true. Anyway, episode technically 002, and you've titled it "It's the End of the World as We Know It," and I don't feel fine.
I do feel fine. I'm not sick, but I gotta say, staying home is getting to me. My children are going insane, Alex. They're going crazy. They've got Playmobil stuff like spread out all around behind, which is why I've blurred this background, is because it's a total looks crazy down here. Also, my partner's green square of chroma key that you can see behind me that I've also blurred out is super distracting. What's going on in your life? I'm doing a Martin live stream here on April 30th at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. So if anybody would like to sign up for that, you can listen to me wax poetic about color theory for concert lighting design. I already sent the script to Alex, and he told me that I should be less nerdy about it.
No, I said yes. I said
You
I
did.
only got halfway through it and fell asleep. But maybe that was because I was reading it at 2 a.m. Circling
I need
back.
somebody to write some punch-up jokes in there for me, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what color theory needs. More jokes.
It is.
That's the topic that you want to do jokes on.
That's
The
where you
doctor
want to
says no, be fully nerdy. Yeah,
Yeah.
trust me. I've read the script. He's fully nerdy.
It's true. It's kind of how I make my living. Not so much these days.
Oh, I wasn't going to even joke on that. It
None of
crossed
us
my
are.
mind, but I
We're all
wasn't
at
even going to touch
home.
that.
We're all sitting around playing with visualizers and being sad. What about you? You moved into a new office.
I did.
Can I talk about your new office?
Yeah, you can definitely talk about my new office. I'm not currently in it. I'm at home because my intention was to stream from the office today, but I stayed up until 3 a.m. watching a live stream last night, which also answers your previous question of how often do you watch live streams live. So I got up and realized that the milk had expired, so I didn't have a coffee, so I'm drinking orange juice. But yeah, you can definitely talk about my new office. My new office is
I'm
based
drinking
in Melbourne,
La
Australia. Haha, blurred.
Yeah, it is. It is quite blurred. I don't know. There must be some facial recognition that's happening because it's. Oh, if I get it, there we go. It's La Croix Limoncello, naturally essenced. I'm not sure how you naturally essence something with limoncello, but.
And what did you call it? I was told
Limoncello.
by an American. No, I was told by an American touring LD that it's LaCroix, and I require 6 LaCroix at my front of house position before the beginning of my show.
Really? He really called it LaCroix? Or LaCroix?
I'm not going to disclose their sex.
Oh, okay. Martin, the company that decided a beam fixture should not have red next to open on the color wheel.
You got to put it somewhere.
Yeah.
Just because Clay Packy put it there.
Are they removable like they were in the Mac 250 on tour? Because I have a funny anecdote that I put into my Martin webinar script about some lights and what you do with them when they don't color mix, and we can talk about that later in the show if we get around to it.
Yeah, we definitely should get around to it.
We should. We have some news items to cover, actually, if you wanted to.
Yeah, do we want to start at the top and run down in some sort of sequential order thing?
You know what? Us being lighting programmers primarily and designers, I think sequences are what we do best.
Yes. Is tracking enabled or are we non-tracking here?
Oh God, you know what? My very first console was a non-tracking console, and I did not understand tracking, and it had to be explained to me slowly and painfully, and it took me an embarrassingly long time to understand exactly how it worked. That's it. That's all I got. News item one is the Lico is back.
Is it?
The real Lico. Strand has come out with the LED Lico profile and also the Katana Fresnel in both full color and tunable white versions. Two tunable white versions, a cool and a warm version, or you can get the red, green, blue, amber, lime, and cyan. I know how much you love these growing initialisms. So now it's not RGB, it's RGB LCA, or
WTF BBQ
yeah,
is the yep
LGBTN.
I
It's great.
intensity.
You know what? The cyan does help. It does help to fill in that part of the spectrum. I like it. I've only seen one other light that had it. It was an elation fixture, believe it or not. But it did very nice. Did very nice color mixing. So yeah, the Lico is back. That is going to be fully compatible with your lens tubes that you already have. Um, they're now they're saying that they have a CRI. This is for the white versions, a CRI exceeding 94. But I also like that they are going to publish the TM30 and TLCI values. I haven't ever seen an explanation of TLCI. I know that it exists and it's mostly like television, but I've never played around with it. But TM30, happy to see those being used.
I don't know what a TM30 is. Should I?
TM3015. Well, we did an episode on it. It was not you and me though.
Oh, good. All right. Well, that shows that I
It was
do
not you and I.
listen to the podcast when I'm not on it.
It was Gavin and I. It was a long time ago. TM3015 is basically the new version. So CRI was invented for basically for fluorescent tubes, and the way you did it is you had a sort of, I have a visual aid. You had like a set of colors, and you shine an illuminant at your colors, and it bounces back. They're all relatively desaturated and not very bright. And again, it was for fluorescent tubes to sort of see how well they compared with the standard, and they made the standard more or less incandescent. So even though incandescent doesn't have perfect color rendering either, it overemphasizes reds and oranges. So TM3015 is basically a mathematical modeling of light sources, except it uses 99 color samples, and it not only reports undersaturation, it also reports oversaturation and color fidelity with respect to how far off your hues shift. So you get two values from a TM30 reading. You get the fidelity index and the gamut index, and one is how close it is to the colors and how over or undersaturated it is. And that's a really short explanation. There's a lot of really cool math, but you can go back and listen to the episode. I don't remember which one it is, but there's only 35 of them or so to look through. So,
and you put out episode notes anyway, so it should be quite easy.
I do, yeah. It's easy enough to search the website and look for that TM3015. Wow. The biggest point is that you shouldn't really be using CRI. CRI, especially for LEDs, it means nothing. It's completely inaccurate, and you can game the system in ways that make CRI a completely meaningless metric in terms of color quality. So.
A comment from the chat says, I was hoping the Cantata can replace the Rama. Well, the Cantata came before the Rama. The Cantata name isn't a new name that they are using. That it's a very old name that they had for a Fresnel fixture that would have been mid-80s, I think. I have heard of that name before.
I've never heard of the Rama. What is that?
That is the new version of the...
I'm showing my ignorance here.
Is it the Acclaim profile? No, the Acclaim was the profile. What was the one that came before the Rama in terms of Fresnel. Oh, it'll come to me. I've lost it. It was just a 1.2K. The names
Okay.
really don't matter here, but
No, they don't. Strand is one of the older lighting companies. I'm sure that they can make a really, really awesome fixture. So anyways, this new LED Lico uses the SPX Smart Gate found on the legacy SPX and PL4 fixtures, so all your lenses will be interchangeable. And for the Cantata, designers have a wide range of 10 to 55 on that manual zoom. And you get all your standard accessory rails and barn doors, whatever you want to put on the front. Very cool. I am interested to see a profile light with a cyan emitter in it. I anticipate that will help with that part of the range.
I think it definitely would. Doesn't the luster, the ETC luster range, have a cyan emitter in it?
I do not believe so. I think that this is the first one that uses a cyan emitter. But the ECC Luster 2, let's see what they have. I don't think that they have a cyan emitter. Maybe they do. I'll feel very silly if they do. But let me check. It's 7. It is... oh, I might be about to eat my words. It may in fact have a... I'm reading the notes here, which makes for riveting television, I tell you.
It does, but it's a conversational show, so...
It is a conversational show. It says extra red, produce amber straws, lime green emitter. I already knew about the lime green. So that's RGB, amber, lime, white. Maybe this isn't. It doesn't say. Boy, you'd think that they would just. You'd think that they would say that. I don't think it does. I use these sometimes at for one of the local companies here in town, and I don't think that they have a cyan emitter. But if I'm wrong, it's very possible that I am, and I apologize, and someone should correct me quickly on that, because I will feel very silly. But I'm looking through the data sheet here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Here we go. It is red, amber, lime, green, cyan, blue, and indigo. Wow, I was totally off. So yeah, it does have cyan, also blue, also indigo. So like 3 shades of blue in there, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have white. I'm surprised. Okay.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised by that as well. You'd think it'd have some colored temperatured white, even if it's not like a pure white.
Yeah, it's interesting though. There's a couple of different colors. There's one for daylight, which uses red, mint, blue, and indigo, and the Series 2 tungsten uses red, orange, mint, blue, and indigo. So the Series 2, some of them do have cyan and some of them don't. That would explain why I thought that they didn't, because the ones that I've used don't have it. Okay, cool. That's completed. Are you an Avalights fan?
I haven't used an Avalights in many years, so I think I need to revisit it. So I'm not a fan right now, but I'm I am open to new opportunities, as I am with a lot of desks. Because I say that because I wrote off the Camsys range for many years, and then tried their new MQ70, which is a beautiful little desk that's designed to pretty much fly on any airline you want. It's got a built-in UPS. I don't know how many universes it does, but knowing Camsys, it'll be, 140,000 universes.
Right.
So I'm opening myself up to other desk options, but I haven't seen the Avalight stuff recently. What are you going to tell me about, Greg?
I'm actually going to tell you about the Avalights Q series media servers. These are the AI servers. I suppose they used to be.
Yep.
I have you. Have you used those?
I haven't. I saw them at a trade show 2 years ago, and they looked very impressive, especially in the price point that they're in.
That's kind of what my thoughts were. It does sort of the same things that every other media server does. You've got your layers, you've got your color adjustments, you can do some mapping stuff in there. They just came out with a new line called the Q series, along with AI version 12.1. I don't know much about AI. It's been many years since I messed around with it in a production environment. But I remember thinking that it was quite a capable product back then, and I'm sure it hasn't gone backwards at all now. But they have a few different versions with some 4K outputs on the Q3 Pro. Q4 has 4 4K outputs, and you can rearrange all your input modules. And you also get this the Q4 or the QGen, sorry, uh, delivers 30,000 notch marks, and you get a 2-year notch playback license with it, which is pretty cool. So yeah, the Avolites media servers. When you use media servers, do you have one that you spec? Like if somebody says, Alex, come to a show for us, and you get to use whatever media server you want, what do you tell them? Are you playing with a desk toy?
I might be.
We should compare desk toys later because I have lots that I like.
Yeah, I just...
It's one of my favorites.
It's blurred.
Well, it shouldn't.
Oh, there we go. That's better.
It's so
That's
fun!
very cool.
Isn't it? It's addictive.
I definitely can tell it's addictive.
I'm a child.
Yeah, well, but you've got to have something in your hands, otherwise I do this. I do like Italian hands.
Yeah.
I I own PRG Mbox servers, so that'd be my go-to if you've got, you know, minimum budget, which is good for punching out a bit of content to a LED screen. But anything beyond that, my second go-to is just Hypnotizer, more by, you know, force of use than anything else. I've used it on a bunch of shows. It's trusted. But anything beyond that, like the moment you start doing anything that's like live regenerative effects that, you know, uses all the notch stuff, I normally tend to bring someone else in, and they'll bring in, you know, their favourite thing, in the same way that I'm fanatical about the MA, and to a certain degree so are you. They would be fanatical about their, you know, disguise or their AI. And one of the groups, interestingly, that I work with on occasion down here in Australia is a company called Iconics. And in that press release that you've sent from PLSN, it says, come experience the Q-Series media range designed by Iconics and Notch. So they've built clearly some of the content that's running on their demos, which is a good little, you know, shout out to a small Australian company that's doing good things.
Yeah.
What about you, Craig? What media servers do you like? I know you've taken out it was D3 when you toured it last.
Yeah, we had D3 out on Halsey. I found it reasonably easy to control. We had one of the top-notch guys out with us, and so programming. Let me just say that if you ever have the opportunity to use Notch, and you want, and you have like, you have the option to have a Notch programmer there, it's so much fun. You just sit there and you've got your media server guy off to one side and then the Notch guy, and you're like, hey, can you do this? And he like types over there in Notepad for 10 minutes, and he's like, so kind of like this, and you come up with these looks that are so far beyond anything that I could make. It was a really fun experience. His name was Berto Mora, really fantastic Notch programmer, and he came up with some of my favorite looks in that show. And as far as controlling it, like what they do when they make these plugins, and I forget exactly what they're called. My friend Danny would know, right? Notch blocks. Yes, thank you. Is he names the control parameters for you, and then he generates a little MA fixture file. You plug it in, and you can control all the attributes that you want, and it's a beautiful, glorious thing. So I found programming D3 to be very easy. Beyond that, I've used what's the one that AC Lighting supported for a long time?
Pandora's Box, maybe?
No, it was more of a budget option. I can't remember the name of it. We used it out on Alan Jackson, and I didn't much care for it. It had some real issues running. It'll come back to me. And then on a couple other shows I've used a Hypnotizer, and it was fine. The biggest problem that I had with the Hypnotizer was people who didn't understand what they were doing messing around with the DMX mapping of the Hypnotizer, which then created a really impossible to figure out problem that took me like 3 days poking around in the internals to find. What they had done, Alex, in case you want to know, is they had changed the volume attribute to be an 8-bit attribute. And when you do that, your volume, or speed, I'm sorry, they had set the speed attribute as an 8-bit attribute. When you do that, none of your values precisely end up on 100, which is like default regular playback speed. And so we were getting these audio pops, and we could not figure out what was going on. And we had it for days and days. And finally, I realized that the speed slider was not set to 100. It was set to like 99.7 or something like that. I was like, well, that's really weird. Like, it should be right on the money. And it was a 16-bit parameter in my MA profile, but someone had changed the actual profile on the server, gone in and deleted half of that 16-bit parameter. I was like, I don't know why you do that, but someone did. And as soon as I made it 16-bit, it worked just fine. But my other experiences with, and that wasn't, obviously has nothing to do with Hippo, my other experiences with that server have been largely positive. Archaeos is the name of the one that I've used
Ah,
out on
okay.
Alan Jackson, and I've got nothing but mediocre things to say about Archaeos.
Yeah, fair enough. Look, it was a VJ tool that tried to graduate and be, a real media server, and there are again some fanatics that like it, but I really don't see the value in it. The other one that I, put on the bucket list to never use again is Resolume.
Really,
It just,
Resolume.
yeah, it just doesn't work well with a lighting desk. I don't have CITP. I can't sit behind it and not worry about the media server, and that's what I like about Mbox, Hypnotizer, all of them.
Yeah, I completely agree with the difficulty of using it. Although we used it on Halsey for Badlands Part 2, and it did admirably there. The only problem that we had that I had with that is that you could only control it via ArtNet, and so every day I would have my media guy come like barreling out to front of house 15 minutes before the doors, saying, "I don't have ArtNet. I don't have ArtNet." And I'm like, "You do. Just relax. I'm doing a thing." Like, if he didn't see those ArtNet numbers come in, he would just assume that the system was like crashing. And
Yeah,
I don't like
right.
ArtNet. I don't like ArtNet anyway for a couple of reasons, but yeah,
The
media
other
server.
one, the other one is Catalyst. That I think Catalyst
Catalyst,
has had its time, and I keep seeing it out on shows. And every time I
one
see
of
it
the
out on shows,
originals. One of the originals.
yeah, and it hasn't adapted or evolved. It can't do unicast. Keep that in the
The
back of your mind. If you ever need to troubleshoot it, it only
the
takes broadcast ArtNet
interesting,
because it
really.
is old.
Gotcha. The main lead programmer developer of Catalyst, I believe, is having or recently had some really serious health problems, and I think that he is no longer able to keep up with that. I don't remember who I heard that from. Um, it sounds like the whatever health problems they were pretty debilitating. So I think that Catalyst for the time being might be on its way out. I don't know if that's currently the case or not. I haven't heard any updates on that, but I've never used Catalyst. The only thing that I've ever seen run on Catalyst was a Radiohead show,
Yeah, okay.
because I know that Andy Watson either did or and Pip Rhodes either did or still do use that as one of their primary media servers. But that's the only thing I've really ever seen it on.
Yeah, it still does around.
Corporate shows, for the most part, use MBox.
Well, a couple of shows that came through on the last festival run that I did. Remember when we had gigs? How good were gigs?
I
Over New
remember going
Year's.
outside.
Yeah, I remember going outside as well. Uh, One of the US acts that came through, one of Sunu Radhia's acts, was running off Catalyst.
Hmm. Interesting. Which one? Do you remember?
You've put me in a bind. I can't remember the
Oh, I'm
name of it.
sorry. Never mind.
No, that's
Look,
all right. No,
free,
I've got to
free
remember
desk
it.
toys.
Now I've got to look it up.
No, it's all right. It doesn't matter. We can
No,
move
it
on.
definitely does because it's going to bug me for the rest of the show.
Well, we can talk about the next thing while you think about it.
Well, you can continue talking about the first thing. So one thing that you glossed over, of Monsters and Men, there you go. One thing
Oh
that you
yeah.
glossed over in the release with this Avalites thing is that it now offers Pioneer Pro DJ Link Bridge integration software. Have you come across this in your world?
I didn't mention it because I didn't know what that combination of words meant. It was basically a word salad to me.
So essentially, it's a really cool way of pulling BPM and even timecode information off CDJ. I wanted to say record players, but CD players that DJs use. You'd be familiar with them. Pioneer. Anytime you see an electronic music act,
Uh-huh.
no, Craig doesn't
I know
go
what you're talking.
outside.
Yeah, I know. I'm with you. I know what you're talking about.
You just look
The
like the
thing to
look of mass confusion.
spin the things.
Yeah, so
With
basically
you.
you put your lighting control system on the same network as a laptop that's networked in with the players, and you can see what song they're playing. The software can generate time code. You can pull BPM, so if your DJ is tapping in a really weird BPM, you could even sync your lyrics, your visuals to it. It's
Uh-huh.
definitely the way forward, and I think it's really cool. And by
Okay.
the look of it, the AI server supports it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you enjoy this.
Well, you
What do
know
you think
so much
about
about color
custom?
theory. I know weird things about networking stuff.
No, it's all right. We all have our niches. Um, Alex asks, what do you think about custom TD media servers? I don't know what a
Touch
custom
designer,
TD. Oh, Touch Designer.
I
That
imagine.
you know what? Touch Designer is one of those things that I keep seeing beautiful, amazing posts about, and I have just not sat down to learn about what it is. My understanding is it's an iPad app and you do things with it. The look
No,
on your face
no,
just
no,
told me
no.
I said something way wrong.
So
So
Touch Designer, I've only used
enlighten
Touch
me.
Designer for interactive based stuff. So it's all sort of node based, and if you ever wanted to learn like the way you would do interactive stuff with it, let me know. But basically, you drag in, let's say, I was using a Kinect. You know the Xbox Kinect camera that you can do like
Yeah, yeah,
gaming
yeah,
with? Yeah. So
yeah.
we did an installation with one of those. So you drag in the Kinect object and it gives you a bunch of information off it, and you essentially link like patching things
Hmm.
across. So
Yeah.
I was taking like the person X and Y values of their arms, which gives you a value between like 0 and I think 1,000. You then
Hmm.
use a maths nodule to bring that down so that it scales from 0 to 255, and then you put in a module that does the DMX output.
Oh,
And it's the same
okay.
way that when they do visuals in a really basic thing, they take a source thing. It's kind of like Notchbox, where it's
Hmm.
all sort of module based, and you just
Right, and
connect
then
them
you
up.
just build the looks that you want off of that.
Yeah, correct.
Fascinating. So, what do
But
you think about custom Touch Designer media servers?
it's kind of like the guys that rock up with a lot of MIDI controllers. Yeah, that's great, but I can just take the top of the lid off my media server and have it run. I don't need to set up all sorts of weird things and hope that it doesn't crash. Yeah. Dead uses it. Dead Mouse uses it for his cube shows. He does. And shout out to
Dead
Collins.
Mayo 5.
Dead Mouse 5. Shout out to Collins Stenzel, the most grumpy lighting guy I have ever met. No, haven't
Really?
met. I've just ever dealt with.
Oh,
I
I've
don't think
never
he
dealt or
likes
met
the
him, but
world.
huh?
I don't think he enjoys the world. He hangs out in Facebook groups ridiculing other people's MA knowledge. It's
Is
quite
he
humorous.
the question is he as grumpy as John Luxinger, who used to work for Bandit? That's the grumpiest guy I've ever met. But I don't think John watches this show, so I can say that. And also, we need to have a discussion sometime about the truly ridiculous MA MIDI controllers that keep popping up on like the r/lighting design subreddit. There are some people who are buying truly incredible amounts of like button pads and making these ridiculous, gigantic. There's like the size of a full MA.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
that's
know.
what they like.
Yeah,
And Luke Stratton pretty much custom builds one
Luke
and
Stratton.
sells.
Yeah, Luke
Yeah,
Stratton Designs.
yeah, Stratton
You
Designs, and he
can
builds
buy
really
one
nice
if
ones.
you
Yeah,
want.
yes.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it depends on what you're comfortable with, and I guess the whole like building on of MIDI controllers has value because you can start with something small and then add on bits. It's kind of like the Martin Maxis thing from a couple of console generations ago. Yeah, I can see on your face you remember that.
John Luxinger was really into Maxis. Those stupid little those little track things that just like attracted like dirt and hair and like mouse droppings. I hated those.
Mm.
And I say that as someone who likes pretty much most things that Martin make. I didn't really care for the feel of the Maxis. The feel of
Anyway,
the Maxis would make a really great episode title, by the way.
yeah, but not of a podcast one.
No, probably not. Can we talk about the Source Forward 2?
Yeah, sure. Is it a Source 4?
No, it is
Oh.
not actually. It's do you remember the original Source for it's for the number 4 WRD. Have you seen these?
I don't. I'm opening up the link and also posting it in our chat as we
Oh,
speak.
not if I do it first. What? I just did it.
Oh, good job.
No, except I didn't say current topic. Darn.
And the
Current.
link doesn't work.
What? Yes, it does.
It says PLSN didn't send any current data. I think their website.
Yeah,
crashed.
their website is being goofy today. Just hit refresh a couple of times. It'll
Yeah, there
work.
you go. Yeah, so it is
Yeah.
a Source 4.
No, it's not a Source 4.
Oh no, this I actually have read about this. I was
It's
I
the
was going
bump-
to add this
it's
in.
the-
Yeah, it's a replacement
It's
plant
the
base.
goiter. It's the goiter at the back of the light. So you take off the original cap and you stick this goiter on, and it makes your original Source 4 LED based. The original ones were not that bright. So that was the issue. It looks like they have improved the brightness here, although they don't say if it's as bright as a 750. I imagine it's not, but it will probably be at least comparable to your 575 watt based fixtures. And for a lot of people, that's fine. The other problem with these is the dimming, since these are meant as a drop-in replacement with any LED that dims via voltage, you've got to wait for the electronics to get power, to get enough power, and then start to power up and transfer that into the LED array. So it's important when you're using these to program with that in mind. It is not simply a one-to-one replacement, and in fact, you'll have better luck if you write a custom dimmer curve for them to always try to keep those LEDs at a little bit of power, just enough to drive the electronics. But otherwise, they're great. The light that comes out of them is really nice. You can get one for your spots. You can get one for a par. You can get them for Parnells, and you just take off the back cap and slap it on your existing stock of fixtures. Super budget friendly, and yeah, all of the advantages of LED in a pretty painless retrofit.
And apparently it is bright, and in many cases brighter than your long life HPL lamps, but at a fraction of the power draw.
Long life HPL lamps are dimmer in general, are they not?
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe close to your 575 watts. I wonder if the cool white is brighter. I imagine that it is, because 3200 Kelvin LEDs generally are a little bit lower intensity. So we'll see.
And with a CRI of 90.
The CRI is that low, really? Right.
So on the 3200 Kelvin one, it's 80 CRI. On the gallery and daylight gallery, it's 90 CRI.
That's a lower number than I would have expected for a warm white fixture put out by ETC. Interesting. Huh. All right.
Cool. Well, we cracked through that one very quickly without.
We sure did.
diverging off that.
We sure did, and we're still 40 minutes in, because we're just sitting here like. I mean, the first 15 minutes of our show was us just
checking
assing
the audio
around.
work.
So
yeah. Notable personnel movements.
None.
Yeah, no. Well,
There are no
you
personnel
moved from
movements
upstairs
because
to downstairs,
nobody's
didn't you?
moving. Say what?
You moved from upstairs to downstairs to record this, didn't you?
I did, but
Have you been to the bathroom today? That'd be a noticeable personnel
Have
movement.
I gone to the bathroom? Yeah, not in that sense. But I did move from the upstairs to downstairs. 3 levels to my house, and I'm in the basement right now, wherein my music studio is. My violin is behind me, which I will practice after this, and And then I'll probably go upstairs and watch some Star Trek with my partner, or maybe a West Wing, whatever I can get her to agree to.
Lovely.
Yeah, but we wanted to talk about some tech too, did we not? You had you had a thing you wanted to discuss, which was Light Unite.
Light Unite. So
And I'm going to let you take the lead on that because I'm not going to be able to speak intelligently about it because I have just learned about it when we talked right before the show.
that's saying that you've been able to talk intelligently about the other things you've presented. Is
Say
that
what?
Are you suggesting that you had talked intelligently about other things that we'd presented prior to this point?
No,
Less
not at
intelligently.
all. I only speak unintelligently, Alex, especially on this. I'm not used to being able to edit this. This is so weird for me. Like I'm just saying words and people are hearing them. I say I'm not used to it. I mean, that's how like 99% of my communication goes in daily life. But when I'm on with you, I'm used to being able to go back. Yeah, shut up. I'm used to being able to go back and edit this so I can say naughty words and then beep them out. And here I have to be, you know, I didn't mark this not
Polite.
safe for work. So, or maybe you didn't.
It is no. Well, with YouTube, yeah, you kind of don't have the option to a certain degree of marking it. All you can say is that it's not safe for children or not recommended for children. It's a bit of a weird one
Yeah.
because everything I put out is not recommended because it's like, is it designed for children to watch? And I'm like, well, not really. No, they're not really learning about MA. They're learning about Roblox and Minecraft.
Well, it kind of depends though, right? Like I've met some really intelligent 16-year-olds who are like, "Yeah, I want to learn everything there is to know about MA." I'm like, "Okay, we'll go on YouTube and, watch the plethora of information that you can find out there." So, it depends on how loosey-goosey we get with the word child.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I would say that a 16-year-old is a young adult, and I wouldn't
I would
classify.
say that too.
Yeah, well, there you go. We found some middle ground
Yeah.
without swearing at each other and throwing things.
Alex, we've never sweared at each other or thrown things.
I know. I'm creating drama.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyways,
so Light
Light
Unite.
Light Unite.
Light Unite is a concept. I'm just going to read from the article because I also only shortly found it before the show began. On March 22nd, in an act of solidarity with all the heroes fighting for the current social and health issue that is currently affecting the world, we can't say that thing, AV rentals across the Benelux region, including Curacao in Dutch Antilles, lit up the nighttime sky in an initiative called #LightTheSky. And essentially, if we look at the original article that references that, countless companies, venues, and individuals took place on Sunday, the 22nd, between 8 p.m. and 8:30 by either pointing light beams skyward or illuminating architectures such as hospitals and parks. Essentially, the idea is to show support for all the medical staff and other frontline service workers fighting to keep us safe, especially with an industry that has been hit as hard by the pandemic as the entertainment industry, and
Oh, you
outpouring
just said the
support.
word. I mean, kind of.
I said pandemic?
Yeah. Oh, we
I,
can say pandemic?
I don't know. I imagine pandemic in like a cute way, like a panda epidemic, a pandemic.
Oh, I'm with
Just
you.
imagine pandas. Yeah, that's
Pretty funny.
yeah, it's a clutch, and hopefully that YouTube doesn't take us off.
Oh no.
Although I did get an email from YouTube this morning that said that you are now self-censoring. You
Wait,
censor your
what?
own videos. I'll have to read the email after I go through this Light Unite thing. It's kind of funny.
Like
Um,
you are now, like they were telling you that you were
oh
self-censoring?
yeah, I meant to tell YouTube that the video is safe for them to put on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so the one that I'm referencing for Light Unite is the Australian one because I was going to say that we don't have a unique idea in Australia, but I think it's a really good cause to get behind. But, close to, I'd say nearly 100 companies tonight are getting together in their own sort of areas and self-isolating to
Mm-hmm.
shine a light on the current situation and light up the sky. So some major organisations in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, one from Port Augusta, a couple from Canberra and Perth, and one randomly from Bayswater, is going to light up the sky tonight. So I know one company that I share an office with is doing a love heart out
Uh-huh.
of LED pars, and they've drone shot that, and then they're just going to have beams. So I'll take some pictures and I'll share that as well. But I think it's a really cool thing to do. I mean, we've got all these lights sitting here. Why not get them out and show support?
They're not working, so
Yeah, unfortunately not. But if you do want to play with a real lighting rig, I'm just gonna pitch something that I haven't even cleared with Craig. There is a capacity if you want to up your programming skill with MA or even HOG. Feel free to get in contact with me. I have set up a live streaming setup that uses both a visualizer and also a real lighting rig, so you can actually come and practice on a real lighting rig remotely via a camera.
ooh.
Yes.
Well, that's exciting.
Yes. So for those anywhere in the world, if you're interested in that, let me know. But yeah, that's Light Unite. That's happening.
Somebody in the chat asked whether the source forward had actual DMX or still RJ45. I am looking at the cut sheet right now, and it says that it uses DMX, but it does not say whether or not you can use DMX with it. And just looking at it, it looks like it's still using RJ45 or line voltage. So I expect that they haven't changed anything except the actual, except updated the LEDs a little bit to get some more brightness out of there. Yeah.
Was always
That's
a
a guess.
pain finding RJ45 adapters to XLRs, says Just Call Me Skips.
It is, and I asked ETC why they did that, and they said it was to save space on the fixtures. So.
I've located the email that I was referring to. It's not self-censorship. It's self-certification. YouTube has announced that it will give you more control over your video's monetization. Answer a couple of questions during your next upload to determine whether your video gets a green or yellow icon. The more accurate you are, the more likely we are to rely on your input. Basically, due to the current situation, they can't watch and check everyone's YouTube videos, so they are putting it back on those that upload to ensure that the video is of a certain quality so that advertisers can confidently advertise against it.
Aha. If you don't, is there such a thing as a non-monetized YouTube video? Like,
yes, this one is, because you need 1,000 subscribers to apply for monetization.
Gotcha. Okay, it's good to know.
So you won't be earning 5 cents
I don't
off this
expect
stream.
that we will ever be monetized. But
Well,
that's not
no,
something.
you know, we hope that it would be nice. We were always looking for brand deals, and you know, something
Aren't
to.
we?
I don't know. It'd be nice to subsidize the time that we put in.
I mean, I could read.
I would actually really like someone to go, Craig and Alex, here's some money, promote our product, and as long as we've got, you know, creative control and we're not just reading off a crib sheet that says, Craig, have you heard about the lovely new Shuangfei moving light? Yes, Alex, I spec it on all of my shows, as long as we can be honest about it.
Sure.
You know,
I mean, we could always reach out to, you know, Mail Keemp or that was a joke. That was a dumb joke. I will be surprised if anybody in the audience has any idea what I just referenced. MailChimp, Serial, season 1. Never mind. You know, we could always do. You could always do Audible. Audible will they will monetize anything with a pulse, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, or World of Tanks, or Honey.
Honey?
Honey?
What?
You don't watch much YouTube.
No,
No,
I
clearly.
don't. I have a couple of channels that I really like. I like Half As Interesting. I like Tom Scott. He's really fun to watch.
Yeah, what else?
Gosh, what else? There's a few. Nerdwriter 1. He's fantastic. Consoletraining.com.
There we go. There it is. I was slowly fuming.
It took me a second. I'm looking at your face and I'm like, I haven't said the right one yet. You know what's really hard is that I was super scared for a second that I was going to say Console Trainer,
That's
Cat West's old channel, which I don't think is updated in quite a while.
Yeah, and I feel bad about that. I didn't know that her channel existed when I created mine. Because I wasn't trying to like cling to anything to do with hers, because hers is amazing and everything that
No, of
she's
course.
produced is great.
Yeah.
So I felt guilty when I saw that there was a console trainer and people were getting them confused.
Yeah.
One is Cat West, who is awesome, and one is me, who is Australian.
Yeah. Cat West is not Australian,
Cat West is not
although I've never
Australian.
met her.
I haven't either.
Um,
I think I've exchanged emails with her.
we are right at about 52 minutes, and did you want to talk about what to do if your moving lights don't color mix?
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you do if your moving lights don't color mix? Oh my
Put
god.
gels in front of them. Show over.
Yes, you should definitely do that. And then you have a person who you should do like multiple gels, and then they can just take them off throughout the night so the color will change slowly.
I've worked with directors and
Don't do
stuff
that.
that like to gel moving lights. I never understood it.
I can understand doing it on a video shoot if you just need that exact perfect color, whatever. I don't think it makes any sense for a live show. I think the last thing that I did, the last show that I did that did not have color mixing moving lights, I had Mac 250 on tours, and they have, oh yeah, MA3 updates. That happened.
Yeah, there's an MA3 update out there. Go have a look at it. Read the release notes.
It's pretty cool.
Done.
Done. I took all the color chips out. I cleared it with the rental house, and 250 on tours. They have these little trapezoidal color chips that don't have any space in between them. So I took all the color chips out, rearranged them into the palette that I liked and wanted, and then put them back in. And so then I did like slow fades in between chips. Is this a Call of Duty thing? What's the F from? I know that
It's F to show respects.
I know, right? And like the hand walks up to the casket and is like,
Yes.
"Okay, I'm showing respect" for like 2 seconds, but I don't know what it's from, and everyone references it now, and I feel like an old man.
Yeah,
So
press F to pay respects, because it was the
yeah,
most ridiculous quick time event in a computer game. I can't remember which one it was, but I've seen the videos.
I don't remember which one it is either. And anyway,
They're all
so I
doing
took
it
all the
now.
color chips out. I rearranged
Yeah.
them. Repex.
Rupex, at least spell it correctly, Alex.
I think they might actually be messing it up on purpose at this point, as sort of a form of humor. Like, you know how Jack is slowly going is slowly going crazy in The Shining. His typing gets more and more. You've seen The Shining, right?
It's on my list. It's on my
Oh,
list.
Alex.
Leave me alone. I've been watching new movies.
The Shining is Kubrick at his best, except for 2001. He was also really great in that. I mean, he wasn't in that. He directed it. Whatever. I took all the color chips out. I rearranged them into the palette that I liked, and then I would fade slowly back and forth in between, or do like a move in black, or effects that bounce between color chips, and that's as best as I could do. What would you do? Probably the same thing, I'm guessing.
Double the amount of moving lights.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
No,
I had
I
some
don't know.
mixing
I
lights on that.
deal with it.
My spots didn't.
I
What?
guess I guess I deal with it like that. That's a really creative solution, and maybe on like non-touring or like non-live shows that'd be an option. Like if you were a church or something, can we say the word church? I don't know.
Why can't we say the word church?
Religion.
Yeah, it's a thing that exists.
Maybe this show should be renamed Press F. No, this show is
We
called
could.
Lighting Nerds. We are Lighting Nerds.
We could
We're not
rename it
renaming
that.
the show.
It took me several days in consultation with Gavin to come up with Lighting Nerds, so I'm keeping that.
Yeah.
And I designed that logo. So
Yes, and I've got stickers of that logo.
instead of church, what I most often see in the production magazines is House of Worship.
Ah, yes, House of Worship.
That's more inclusive. It includes mosques and other places people go to worship, like forests. I don't know. What do religious people do?
But
They
yeah,
go to
anyway,
houses. They go to houses of worship. Anyways,
do.
you were
You were
saying a
ranting.
thing. I interrupted you.
I was ranting. And I can't remember what I was going to say. What would I do? I guess I'd either accept the limitation and just use Move in Black, or I'd work out where I can substitute or where I really need color mixing things, because the whole color wheel based stuff is hopefully a dying thing. Hopefully,
I think
with
it's always
the
it's always
LEDs
going to
getting
exist
brighter.
in club lights. It's always going to exist in club lights. Like there's always going to be lights that until we have LED arrays
That
like
are so
RGB
cheap.
LED, yeah, that are so cheap that you can just put them into everything. We're going to be dealing with subtractive LED spot fixtures, and that means that some of the lower end ones are going to have a color wheel. I hope that somebody comes up with a really great color mixing LED array that you can put into a spot, but I think that the physics are just too hard at this point, and the cooling is too hard, and your output is not going to be there. But fame and fortune awaits someone who can figure that out.
Hopefully.
I'm sure Ayrton is trying really hard. I'm sure Osram is trying really hard. I'm sure Apatronics is trying really, really hard. So
Are Color Kinetics still a company? They kind of revolutionized LEDs. Are they still around, Color Kinetics?
uh just recently I was using some lights that still said that they were licensing technology from Color Kinetics. I
Would they be a
don't know
Robe
if
600?
it might have been a Roby 600. Now you say Robe, I always hear Roby. Do you say Robe?
We say Robe here.
What is Roby?
It's Robe here. I have a hat somewhere that says Robe.
Yeah, it says Robe, but it's pronounced Roby. Otherwise, the Stroby doesn't make any sense.
I'll put that to the Roby distributor next time I see them.
You should. You know what? I talked to the CEO of Roby once at
As you
LDI
do, yeah.
by accident.
Oh,
It's regional. Even a Roby rep claims it. By accident, I was asking about the pulse width modulation of the Stroby because I was going to go review it in my hotel room at Nook's request. And so Joe Fuccini sent me over to talk to this guy and, check accent and talk for a while. I'm like, this guy is just crazy smart. And I walk away and they're like, oh, yeah, you were talking to the CEO of Roby. I'm like, might have mentioned that before I went over there and potentially stuck my foot clear up my mouth. Anyway.
Color Kinetics is still a company. They do outdoor LED now, mainly, by the look of it. Looks like
Yep.
they've lit up half of China from their website.
Do they still have like the indoor stuff, like the Color Cove, stick it behind a wall and light up your
You
wall?
mean like the color blazers?
No, not the Color Blaze. That was like a large format fixture, wasn't it?
It was, well, yeah, it was like the first LED strip. I still see them around. They were in a movie recently.
They're really heavy.
They are really heavy, but they just keep going. They're kind of like the tank of the industry.
Hmm.
Fixture by environment. Let's go. Interior. Yeah, maybe. They've got a lot of products. The Color Force thing, maybe? Skip says in the chat. Is that what you're thinking of, maybe?
Oh, that just appeared for me. It was a little bit delayed. The Color Force thing. Wait, no, Color Force is owned by ChromaQ now. You're thinking of are you thinking of a Color Blaze, perhaps?
I think maybe it's the Color Blaze.
Color Force is owned by ChromaQ, and it's on to Generation 2. That's what the Color Blaze is. Okay. So ChromaQ acquired all of the Color Kinetics line, I guess?
Maybe.
Here I go, not knowing my Color Force, Color Blaze, Color Kinetics history.
The Color Blaze is
of
a Color Force knockoff, apparently.
the knock.
No.
I don't know if that's necessarily
No.
true,
No.
but I'll have to do some history on that. I don't know off the top of my head, and if I go hypothesizing, I'm going to look like more of an idiot than I generally do, which is a lot.
What's your
And we're
favorite
at an
fixture
hour.
currently?
We're at an hour.
What's your favorite moving light currently on the market that's
Oh.
different?
That's different?
Yeah.
Well, there's the one I can't talk about until tomorrow when it gets released, so I won't talk about it. My favorite on the market that does something different. I'd love to see the Steelos, but unfortunately the world shut down before that could make its way to me. Boy, you're asking a hard question there. What's your answer?
It's in the chat. It is the G7 Beast. SGM.
Oh, the Beast!
The
Yeah!
Beast. I've seen it recently. I saw it just before.
That's such a great answer.
Uh-oh.
That's a great answer.
The G7 Beast is a great answer. I saw it recently, just after we went into shutdown. There was a very small launch event because it was meant to be on the roadshow that I was doing, but it kept
Uh-huh.
missing freight deadlines. So I managed to finally see it. It's very bright. It's very cool. You'll need a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh,
But it's very
apparently
different.
everybody already knows about this fixture that I can't talk about, so I won't. I still won't talk about it because I have friends at Martin who might watch this video, and I want to stay in their good graces. But
I don't know what you're talking about.
indeed, yeah, the Beast is a great answer. GLP has one called. I think right now they're just calling it the Line, and there's just a teaser for it on.
Is that the Line E? It's got too many E's. Oh, the Aura is apparently being showed off on Instagram.
Oh, is it?
Is it? Hang on.
I haven't been on Instagram because I try to stay off my phone while we're doing this. But yeah, let's go look at Martin Professional. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, yeah. So there's a teaser for it. At any rate, yeah, it looks really cool. It's. I mean, I'm not going to hold my phone up to the screen, but if I had more information about it, I couldn't talk about it. And yeah, I think that'll be really cool. It'll be nice to see. It'll be nice to see what the aura effect looks like on that one in a production unit.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, from just looking at the video, it looks really, really cool. And while we're on the topic of Harman, I feel remiss if we don't mention their amazing set of online training videos and resources that they have scribbled away on their website. If you manage
They're
to
doing
find
a whole bunch of really cool ones upcoming. I'm not just saying this because I'm doing one. Like, they're doing a whole bunch of them upcoming. If you want to watch the one for this upcoming Aura thing, you can watch that tomorrow. That's being live streamed with Marcus Klusner. Make sure you ask about his watch if he's wearing one, because he will really enjoy that. He's a nice guy, a super sarcastic guy, but a very nice gentleman. But yeah, check out Harmon's educational stuff. It's really, really good. And check out Axe too if you want to learn any more about MA. You can do a lot of free training right now on their website.
Yeah, there's a whole big list of training resources that I think we shared during the last one. I will share
I
it
think we did as
again.
well. Do you have that ready to go?
Yeah, I've got the link ready, bookmarked, ready to go. Because I commented on it going, you should add console training. And my comment got deleted.
No. It didn't.
Really?
What happened? No, it didn't. The same thing happened because I left a comment that said you should add lighting nerds, and I thought it was deleted. What it is it goes into moderation, and give it like 4 or 5 days, the administrator will probably approve it and put it in there.
Yeah, okay.
It's not been deleted.
Another good training resource is console training. And he replied with awesome thanks, but didn't actually add it. That's alright.
Oh, okay. He probably will.
No, it's alright. I'm not salty about that at all.
Okay. Well, should we get off here?
Yeah, I reckon we should probably tie it up. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We will try to better schedule these in the future.
Yeah. Schedule. I love it.
Schedule.
Yep. It's a very British pronunciation.
All right.
But you put the Queen on your money, so you're kind of one of those.
I'm not even going there. Just you wait. We'll get off air and I will rip you to pieces, my friend.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, thanks, everyone. What is in your hand? What was that?
HDMI adapter.
HDMI adapter?
HDMI.
I have a YouTube video I'm going to send you as soon as we're done with this.
Okay. All right.
Well, thanks, everybody, for joining us. And until next time, this is Lighting Nerds.
Indeed it was.